I'm going to talk about 3 ways that you could set a blog up, and and it actually goes in order with how I actually did it. And the first one is Blogger. So Blogger is a service that is run by Google. Now, 2 things about Blogger that you should know. I got kicked off Blogger. So whatever Google says they're good, they're not. I personally believe there's a portion of Google that's evil. But the reason I got kicked off Blogger was because, it's a daily sales and marketing tips. I'm telling people how to do things. I'm not selling anything. I'm not doing anything like that. They have a piece of software that goes around and looks at websites, and they said, I fit the characteristic of a spammer. And my only means to actually defend myself was to go into what they call an online forum and plead my case. And so I went into this online forum and said, just go look at my website. I'm giving useful information out, and I'm not asking for anything in return. And no one ever responded to me. So I lost my website on Blogger after about a year. Interestingly enough, though, I let Kirsten Kloss over here do a guest post, and it went dead the day after. So I don't know if it had anything to do with that, but probably not. Luckily, though, what I did was I backed up my blog about a week beforehand. And I had never done that before, but I backed it up. And probably the best thing that I ever did, and I'm going to get into that. That's part of some of the tips and tricks that I'm going to get to in the end here, is about backing up a blog. So then I took it and I went to a site called WordPress.com. So I'm sure lots of people here have heard of WordPress. It's kind of the largest platform for blogging and also for websites nowadays, actually. WordPress.com is a version of WordPress that is online. And there's some limitations to it. And some of the limitations are it's not very flexible. It won't allow you to do what you need it to do sometimes. And you have to stay within their boundaries is the best way to look at it. Kind of was on that for about a week. I said, this isn't going to work for me. So then I went to WordPress.org. So this is a guy who has 0 technical skills whatsoever. I took my exported file, went over, and I went to GoDaddy, and I set up a WordPress blog. And it took me 3 times to do it, but the 3rd time was lucky. And I imported stuff, and lo and behold, I had a blog going again. So it took me about 2 weeks to get from this kind of getting kicked off Google to getting into WordPress.org. So my suggestion is I would skip Blogger. So the other reason with Blogger is Google is going through and hacking out a lot of services that they have now. So I would imagine at some point in time in the future, they're going to say blogging is not necessarily core critical to our business. See you later, wean yourself off of it. That's my take, what's going to happen on that one. WordPress.com, interesting if you want to just dabble and see what happens and just kind of poke around with a blog. But if you're going to get serious into it, go to WordPress.org.